Conversation tonight, so let's get straight into it. This evening, I'm joined by the Senior Legislative Aide, Stakeholders Engagement and Mobilization to the Senate President, Femi Odire, as we discuss Ondo politics. Thank you so much for joining us again tonight, sir. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Jumoke. Good to see you once again. The last time you engaged me was when I was campaigning for the Senate President's ambition to become the Senate President. And
absolutely,
to God be the glory. He's now the number 3 man in the political hierarchy of the country. So we thank goodness for that.
And congratulations to you on that. So before we get deep into this conversation, let me get your candid assessment of the political leadership of Ondo State since the Fourth Republic.
Well, the political leadership actually is not too different from the political leadership of any of the states that you can actually make comparisons with. But when it comes to Ondo State, the political leadership is a little bit challenging, if not very curious, in the sense that as far as the APC party is concerned right now, there is quite a significant amount of political schism among the different stakeholders of the party. And going into a major governorship election, it really wouldn't go well if these schisms cannot be resolved one way or the other. And I'm sure you know what I'm trying to get at. Before the demise of His Excellency, late Arakuni Rotimi Akeredolu, the political leadership, they were not happy campers, actually. You got fractionalization. You got kind of a bad blood, if you will, between the late governor and his supporters, and also the then deputy governor, who's now the executive governor of the state. And if you ask me, I will still tell you that these schisms is still there. The supporters of late Akeredolu are still digging in, and they're not supporting the aspiration of the current governor. And also the supporters of the current governor, too, are actually not making things a little bit manageable, if you will, because they are throwing stone, the kind of a biblical stone into the house by still denigrating the Kitty's political leadership in the state. And so when you put all of this together, then it seems to me that the party hierarchy must necessarily do something to actually find a commonality, if you will, to nip in this situation on the board. And I'm also aware of the fact that it's going to be very difficult to find a sort of a commonality, because you have different people gunning for the same position of wanting to get the ticket of the APC. And so it's not going to be very easy, because, again, when you look at who's going to potentially emerge as the party's flag bearer, you agree with me, Jumoke, that a lot of things go into picking the ticket, and the party actually is very cognizant of that. And if you ask me, what are those things that goes into electioneering, at least when it comes to getting a party's ticket? One, you have to look at the degree of cohesion, if you will, by the party stakeholders and the supporters themselves. And two, in my mind, you have to look at the sellability, if you will, of the person that is going to be given the ticket. And also you have to look at the strength of that person relative to the strength of the opposition. So all these things, it seems to me, has to be put into consideration going into the primary. And the earlier the party finds something or finds some kind of a middle ground and actually call the aspirants to order, well, maybe not to order, but at least to temper the pressures, if you will, I think the better off for the party and for the state as a whole. Because again, one thing is that Ondo politics is not your run-of-the-mill kind of politics. Remember during Buhari second term coming, he actually lost the state. And that's because of this factionalization that I'm talking about. So, and we need to do something about all of this. And the earlier we start to interrogate how this thing could be brought together so that we don't lose Ondo State, because quite frankly, the Southwest has already lost 2 states. I mean, let me just say APC now. Beg your pardon. The APC already lost 2 states. We're talking about Oyo State and Osun State, and this is the base of the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So the party cannot afford to lose another state, and that's why I feel very strongly that the candidate, the aspirant that the ticket is going to be given has to have all that it takes. Right, because if that doesn't happen, then you have the PDP locking in the corner.
All right. So before we get to what you think the national leadership of the party must do to ensure that the party does not go into this election a divided house. I mean, there are those who have said, or rather, let me rephrase my question. Do you think the demise of the late governor changed the dynamics of politics in Ondo State, or you feel that things would have remained the same either ways?
Do I feel that what again, please?
Did you think the situation or the demise of the late governor changed the dynamics of politics in Ondo State, or you thought things would have remained the same either ways?
No doubt. The death of Arakunrin Akeredolu actually changed the dynamics. No doubt about that, because he was a political juggernaut, if you will, when he was alive. And he would have had a very strong say as to who succeeds him. And because he's no longer around, and that doesn't mean, too, that his supporters, too, are not going to have a say as to who actually succeeds the governor for another 4 years. And yes, Governor Aiyedatiwa is there for the next 8 or 9 months, if I'm not mistaken. But you see, when I refer to the factionalism before, and I'm actually looking at the factionality and the factionalism that was created as a result of what transpired between Governor Aiyedatiwa and his boss at that time. And there's still this bad blood running through both supporters, actually. And I am not sure if that is going to be resolved anytime soon, because the bad blood is just so deep. And if you ask me, Jumoke, that whether or not Governor Aiyedatiwa should run, although it is his democratic right to run, no doubt about that. But if you ask me, what would have been the best for the party because of what had transpired and because of the potential to lose the election if care is not taken. I would have advised him that he should not run, and I would have advised him to be, since he's now the father of the party, that he should use that 7, 8, 9 months as the executive governor of the state to actually bring the party together, because at the end of the day, Jumoke, it is not about individual. Of course, people are going to jockey for their own political interests, but at this point, because of the things that are happening, because of the rapidity of the potential, let me use that word, of losing another southwest state to the opposition, it should be about the party, actually. And so that would have been my advice. But since Governor Aiyedatiwa has already declared his interest in running, of course, everybody will have to go to the field at the end of the day.
Right. So, I mean, there are those who disagree with you because, I mean, according to the governor himself, he says no politician in this country would want to be governor for just 1 year. And also, zoning seems to be a major issue in this forthcoming Ondo State governorship election. Could you speak to the zoning formula conundrum?
Oh, yeah, but before I speak to that zoning formula, Jumoke, let me quickly address that statement that Governor Aiyedatiwa made, that no governor wants to run for 1 year or less. Of course, he's right, because we are all political animals. And since he has the chance he has another chance to be the governor now for full 4 years. Of course, we want to try his luck, no doubt about that. And I'm not going to fault him for saying that. But however, I'm looking at the political situation from the point of view of the party and not necessarily an individual, because let's face it, this man actually, nobody thought he would be the governor because of the enormous maybe brickbat between the camp of Arakunrin Akeredolu and his own camp. Nobody would have given him a day in the sun that he would be a governor for 1 day, let alone about almost a year. So, but he got a grace, even as a governor for 1 day, as a governor for 6 months, as a governor for 1 year or thereabout. He will remain a former governor for the rest of his life, and he will get all the privileges and the appurtenances of office for the rest of his year, whatever that is. But then I am looking solely from the point of view of how do we retain this state because of the situations that have gone down before. Because if you ask me, Jumoke, I would say I don't see the supporters of Aketi, and they are huge in numbers too. I don't see them supporting the aspiration of Aiyedatiwa, let alone the candidacy, if he happens to win the ticket. And it will pretty much be what Yoruba will call Kagakekuma Jesese Afishia Wadano. And they may very well have a deal with the opposition. God forbid that happens, but that's a possibility. And so we cannot discount the potency, if you will, and the significance and the strength of the camp of late Arakunrin Akeredolu. And so that's why I'm saying that for us to retain APC, and because of the things that had gone down between Aiyedatiwa and his boss when he was alive, it will be very tough. It will be very tough. So and that's why sometimes, although they say politicians are incurable optimists, yes, right, but there's got to be some time too as a politician, even though you want You want to advance your ambition, and there is no crime in advancing your ambition.
So do you
but then
think
you have to
zoning
think
will do the magic?
what
Mr. Odere, do you think zoning will do the magic in Ondo
my
politics?
admonition that perhaps Aida Timba should not have put his heart in the ring. So your second question about the zoning arrangement, Jumoke, yes. I don't see anything wrong in the zoning arrangement, and it happens in all the states. It's like an unwritten code. It's like an unwritten formula, if you will, because right now the governorship has been zoned to the South Senatorial District, and to me, it should remain that way. I wouldn't want to support any other zone from contesting the ticket, let alone try to contest the governorship election under APC. So the zoning is good because.
So let me now ask you, Mr. Odere, how can the APC resolve this deep faction?
For giving people the chance to actually spread development across the board. So it's okay.
Okay. Right, so let me now ask you, how can the APC resolve this deep factionalization within the party going into the governorship election?
Well, I believe that the party hierarchy and up to and including the president must take interest as to who emerges as the party's flag bearer, because the party wants to win, and they should win, and they must put everything possible for their candidate, and whoever wins the ticket at the end of the day to win. And so that means that individual consideration should be taken into account. But at the end of the day, it seems to me, what is good for the party and the kind of candidate that will represent the party should be paramount in the decision making of the stakeholders of the party. That's my strong belief. So, in a way, I would suggest that the party should actually call all these people that have already declared their interest to win the party's ticket together, and let them step down for each other. Because at the end of the day, if we have about maybe 5, 6, 8 aspirants coming from the same senatorial district jockeying for this ticket, it may not go well at the end of the day for the party.
So
I think,
about
give or take, if you ask me, I think they shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 maximum.
Right. So talking about the party calling all the aspirants, there are pointers to a scheduled meeting between President Tinubu and party stalwarts next month. What impact do you think that proposed meeting will have on the outcome of the election if it holds?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again, please?
You talked about the party calling all the aspirants together. So I'm saying to you now that there are pointers to a scheduled meeting between President Tinubu and party stalwarts next month. So I'm asking, what impact do you think that proposed meeting will have on the outcome of the election if it holds?
Well, I will want to wager that the meeting, if it happens, is probably going to go along the direction of what I just said previously, that they're probably going to have to counsel these people that, look, there are some people that quite frankly, cannot win even their ward, let alone their local government. So those people should be encouraged to step down, and let the field now have about maybe let the field now have about maybe 2 or 3 candidates, and like I said earlier, maximum of 3. And so with that, then you can now all the different political stakeholders who wants to can now coalesce their support behind these 2 or 3 aspirants. And to me, that can actually translate into positive outing for the candidate of APC when the election rolls around in November.
All right. Mr. Odere, as an aide to the Senate President, what is his position on who emerges the party's flag bearer?
Well, Jumoke, let me say this much. His Excellency, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, is a Democrat, and is going to he wouldn't have, and I'm sure he doesn't have any problem with just letting people go into the field and let the best man comes out at the end of the day to going into the governorship election. But I must also tell you, Jumoke, that I probably won't be sitting here tonight if not for the fact that my principal, His Excellency Godswill Akpabio, called me 2 days ago and that I should assist Senator Jimoh Ibrahim's aspiration to clinching the ticket. So I sort of got a marching order from my principal to support the aspiration of Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's who the Senate President is supporting?
I'm sorry?
Is that who the Senate President is supporting?
Well, from my own education, when your boss calls you and and out of about 6, 7, or 8 aspirants, and say, this particular person is my man, please go and work for the realization of his aspiration. What does that tell us? It tells us so that that he's the one that he's supporting, even though the field is still going to be democratized and everybody is still going to go out there.
All right. Thank you very much for letting us know that. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens between April 6 and 27, dates for the Ondo State primary election. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I've been speaking with Femi Odere, legislative aid, stakeholders engagement and mobilization to the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Jumoke. Thanks once again.
And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But all